We want to be in the peak of his effort. Connection of adhesion. We want this lesson to become a prayer if we will make the correct efforts. Certainly, we will get an answer, as long as we are holding our weapons in our hands and our main weapon is the prayer. And as long as we do not cause ourselves despair from this war and keep gripping to our weapons, meaning prayer, we are winning for sure. Since, as long as one strengthens oneself in prayer and outcry to the Creator, he is winning the war, as this is essentially the victory. We need to arrange for ourselves a line, or we're constantly directed at the Creator and we're constantly scrutinizing. What else can I add in this moment compared to the previous moment in my plea to the Creator? What else can we add? What else can I ask to unite us, to connect us? How else can I turn to him if I can't feel the inner urge to turn to him? I need to make sure that at the very least I will join my friends and connect to them and worry together with them, and they will pressure me and I'll pressure them, and each shall help his friend, and we will nevertheless come to a cry for which we will surely get help from above, and the help from above is when the Creator is revealed. Active workshop. How can we turn the lesson into a prayer? How can we turn the lesson into a prayer? We will turn this lesson to a prayer. I take advantage of each second in the lesson to turn to the Creator with a demand from the depth of the heart, from the center of the 10. Turn to the Creator with a demand for correction. We want to have a heart of bestow, a heart of love, and demand it and cry about it. Now, Ra in this excerpt we heard said that prayer is really our weapon that we use, and it's not sufficient to simply pray, but we have to add in prayer. That's what's important, to always search. What else can I add? What else can I, how else can I incorporate with the friends? Look for more deficiencies and more ways to get in contact with the Creator. Here, according to how Ra described it, just now it's a goal on the path. I have to treat it like a goal. If we're not up in prayer, if I didn't add to the prayer, or if I couldn't and I incorporated in the front and then we built the prayer, if I didn't do it, time not working. This is not work, and the result from the prayer should be the revelation of the Creator. So until we reveal the Creator at a certain point, we should never stop praying. Seemingly, we have to try on one hand to be drawn to the connection with the friends, and on the other hand to try to reduce the ego as much as possible. And when we hold on to both of these, then between these qualities the prayer increases. It's when we constantly look for what else can we add in the prayer. Also, from incorporation to have a true prayer, we should pray for incorporation as well by trying to open our hearts and build between us a common heart. These efforts give us urgency for prayer. The lesson is a time of common prayer of the entire 10, where we all want to ask for the same thing, to the mutual quality of the Creator, quality of bestow. We want to learn about it. We want to draw the light. Oh, heavy, little I, mean I, though why, alone, I am, oh be, hello. Friends, first part of the lesson we'll learn with Ra from May 1st, 2021. 5 Ishba is an awakening from above. And why do we need an awakening from below? Hello. We are going to be reading in the writings of Alisim in the articles of Shamarti. Article number 5 is an awakening from above, and why we need the awakening from below. Our materials can be found on our site, and you can find the study material as well as on the Arut system under the study materials button. You can send questions, pertinent questions to the lesson will be aired during the lesson, because the Creator is a will to bestow, to give, to love, to be with a positive emanation. So he created the created being in the opposite desire, in the will to receive, so that he will want only to care for himself, and in such a way he gave the possibility to invert himself. Of course, the Creator helps him in that. But that disposition, the desire, the effort in order to invert himself and make out of himself, out of the will to receive, to make something, that is similar to the will to bestow that the person, man has to demonstrate, and that demonstration on behalf of the person, that he does want to reach resembling the Creator is manifested in that man who is created, was created inside of a system called Adam after the sin is broken. He hates everyone. He rejects everyone. He feels himself as that he is the center of the world. And to begin with, he wants to manage everything. That's how his ego is operating within him, so that this person begins to understand that in that he's totally opposite to the Creator, and what he needs to do is actually to use these qualities that are the opposite of the Creator in order to resemble the Creator, and in that is not going to break his egoistic nature. He needs to understand that this is impossible to do that, but rather he even surrenders before his nature, and he's asking the Creator that he will give him, on top of that nature that the Creator created, a desire to connect, an intention to connect. And in this way, even though he is entirely an egoist, however, when he gets help from the Creator, he yearns to connect with others on top of his ego. And then, and it's a wonder, however, he discovers that he has therefore both the egoistic desire that grows more and more and more, and next to it in parallel grows the desire for connection, the altruistic desire more and more. And if he constantly yearns to care for the altruistic desire, the desire for bestow, for connection, then he begins to see that also his egoistic desire, the left line, also grows, and thus they grow in parallel. And in between them, by using both of them, he begins to discover the Creator, the middle line. And this is how he becomes similar to the Creator. And all of this work, certainly it is all done by an awakening from above, discernments that come from above, actions that come from above, the establishment from above of each and every step along the way on our ascent, on the free lines. But nevertheless, to want to be in that, to advance in, that is something that we have to establish this approach on our own, even though it is against our nature. However, when we are together, then each shall help his friend, and we are able to learn and teach and stimulate each other, so that through envy, lust and honor, we will be able to rise on these three lines toward the correct balanced connection, so that we always get from above an intensification of the will to receive, and we get that each and every day. We forget about the spiritual work. Suddenly it becomes unimportant. Maybe it even rejects us. And later on we again come back to feeling its importance. Usually it's by incorporating in the society and betting that from there some spirit and influence bestow, and then we have such ups and downs. The downs, the descents, are when we have the influence of the environment. The ascents is when through the influence of the environment we want to be connected between us and with the Creator, and through such states we assemble our path, and on this path that is there are two partners, we and the Creator. And it's worthwhile to understand that when we say we, us, it means the group. And when we see in these articles that they're not mentioning the group all the time, but rather they are writing about the person, they're writing about the person who is already in a certain connection with the 10, and he's aimed to the Creator, because otherwise he's not Adam. He's not in the direction of identifying with the Creator. So let us now learn our next article from in this way. So we're reading from the writings of Balsam, the articles of Shamarti. Shati number 5 is an awakening from above. And why do we need an awakening from below? In order to attain Lishma, it is not within one's hands to understand, as it is not for the human mind to grasp how such a thing can be in the world. This is so because one is only permitted to grasp that if he engages in Torah and mitzvot he will attain something otherwise a person is not capable of doing anything. But this is an illumination that comes from above, and only one who tastes it can know and understand, and it is written about it, taste and see that the Lord is good. This means that all in all we don't understand anything. We don't feel anything. We get a certain awakening, and that awakening, we feel it inside of us as some kind of disposition to discover the source of our life. What to do more with our life. We see that all of these things are somehow not within our hands, but in something that maybe depends on us. Maybe we can somehow influence our destiny, our fate, and so we want to know, we want to discover the secret of life. Who is managing us? What for? For what purpose? What states are we going through? And how can we influence things, and so where will we reach? The most important is that the summary, the bottom line, and about that it says simply that if you want to know these things, then you need to be in taste and see that the Lord is good. Taste and see that the Lord is good. Taste means to actually taste, to receive inside in your internal vessels, and then you will discover that who is managing you in everything. He is truly a good force. He is a good force. Well, let's continue. Thus we must understand why one should seek advice and counsels regarding how to achieve lishma. After all, no counsels will help him, and if the Creator does not give him the second nature called the desire to bestow, no labor will help him to attain the matter of lishma. We get everything from above. We need to divide that into two. Either I ask and I get something that I'm asking for, and even following my request, maybe I get something that I didn't ask for, but I need to realize that this is what I need, and therefore this is what is given to me, or I don't ask for anything and then I'm still getting taken care of from above, because the force that operates creation is the upper one. And so here there is a question. Could I give what is called an awakening from below, or I should just wait and just be there and flow along with whatever I'm given, and that's it? These are two approaches to our development that if we want to develop quicker, and so that we will be in some active form, and we will know what is happening and what we should do and how to enter a certain connection, a certain interaction with that force that is developing us, then it is very important for me to know how to awaken it, how to shake it like the way little children shake the grown-ups, so that they will help them with whatever they want, or I'm just passive as though nothing matters to me, and whatever happens, happens. These two approaches exist in reality, and they do not quite depend on a person, because there are people who have an inclination towards awakening to be active in their development, and if they use it correctly, then they truly awaken their own development. They hasten it, and there are people who don't feel it. Whatever happens, happens, let it be. Just like yesterday, it will be tomorrow. And even with those people who don't quite have a feeling that they don't want to, that they don't feel a need to accelerate their development, they have short periods when they do want it, and also to the opposite, those who very much do want to change it and accelerate it, suddenly they come to a stop, and they don't want to advance. Let whatever come, we need to scrutinize all of these things, but the most important is that our goal should be that if everything depends on our development, on the awakening from below, then how do we activate this engine, the motor of our development, in an optimal manner? I thank you very much. This question may sound a little bit Afrocentric, please. What is the actual limit for the egoistic desires before we can begin to enter spirituality, because we have different cultures and different desires? For example, one in Europe. This all pertains to the degree of the beast, the anime degree. We are in a will to receive, in which there is the layer of the steel, then the layer of the vegetative, then the layer of the animate, and then the speaking. So, what you're saying, all of our cultures and all kinds of habits in our world, it all exists on the levels of the still vegetative and animate, and none of this relates to spirituality. Spirituality, what is relevant is only the desire within the heart for spirituality, only that the desire, and when you look at the desire, you don't see the general character of the person. You don't see whatever culture or education he has, nothing corporeal, earthly in spirituality. All of these discernments do not exist. Next, the answer is as our sages said, it is not for you to complete the work, and you are not free to idle from away from it. This means that one must give the awakening from below, since this is regarded as a prayer, because a prayer is considered a deficiency, and without a deficiency, there is no filling. Hence, when one has a need for lishma, then the filling comes from above, and the answer to the prayer comes from above as well, meaning he receives fulfillment for his lack. That is, there is a part in men, a part of creation, an active part that he has to activate himself toward the Creator. This is called an awakening from below from him, that he does want to some extent to bestow to the Creator, and it is possible to bestow to the Creator only in one thing. The Creator wants us to receive from him a filling, an illumination. So we need to bring him a vessel so that he will be able to fill it. And in this way we work together with him, with the Creator. We give the awakening from below, and in the form of a vessel that we want to receive, just like me, towards the host, let's say, and then the host fills the vessel with whatever he prepared for me, so that I will receive it. This is our work in order for me to have equivalence of form with the host, so that I will not be ashamed to receive from him, and also I will rise to his degree. I will be a bestower giver like him. So our nature was formed, the will to receive. Nature of the host is the will to bestow, and to the extent that I can do small pieces, small portions, I can invert, transform my will to receive, to seemingly to a will to bestow, to use it for bestow. Then in that I reach equivalence of form with the host. He fills my desire, and I by that fill his desire. He wanted to fulfill me, and I wanted to receive it. But later on I turned it into a desire to bestow to him. This way, we are in mutual pistol with him, and to that extent we are in adhesion according to the equivalence of form, and then I'm no longer considered the receiver. I'm also considered the bestower, and in that we connect with the host accordingly. I also understand his in his actions and his attitude to me, and this is how we advance more and more. We become similar to each other. I wanted to ask, what is the prayer, the most powerful request that the Creator has to answer? It is not measured according to the magnitude of the outcry, but according to the depth of the desire from which you are asking, and that the depth of the desire does not depend on you, but on the extent of your connection with the friends. The more the outcry is closer to a single outcry, as much as the participation, the sharing is true between the friends, the Creator hears it, because then in such a way the vessel and the light will be more similar to each other, even equal to each other, because the vessel rises above its ego in order to cry out as one single outcry, and in that it resembles the light which is also as one. So it turns out that one receives one. Okay. PT 35. Good morning, Rev. Good morning, friends. Worldly. The question is, how will we be able to learn how to internally pay attention to all our thoughts and invert them all to ourselves? I didn't understand. I'm repeating the question. How will we be able to learn to think internally with all our attention, thoughts, and to make us all for ourselves? How can we make all our internal attention to work instead of to ourselves? How can we invert that? Instead of it being for ourselves, invert so it's not for ourselves. This It's by all of us asking for corrections. All of us meaning in the 10 and the upper light influences us and it connects us in that we try to incorporate with one another and by us wanting to incorporate inside of the group with each other, that we establish the condition that in this way we also turn to the Creator, that we want to bestow to Him to incorporate in Him, and then it turns out that without that preparation between us, in the 10 we are not ready for the right relation to the Creator, and therefore one who turns to the Creator by himself is considered a voice crying out in the desert. He has no possibility to reach a connection with the Creator, to reach out to the Creator. He's not turning on the same wavelength that the Creator is able to receive and hear. How can we test our discretion on this? You should check this in the group. How much do you truly connect into one heart? And out of those one heart, how much are you reaching in the direction of the Creator? The fact that we need man's work to receive from the Creator, Lishma, is only a matter of a lack for the vessel, and the filling a man can never attain on his own. Rather, this is a gift from the Creator. That is, we should never care about the filling. The whole upper light is above us, and according to us being ready, it enters, it corrects, and it fills. The host is always ready. We say that the upper light is in absolute rest, and everything depends only on the preparation of the vessels on behalf of people. However, the prayer must be a complete prayer, meaning from the bottom of the heart. This means that one knows 100% that there is no one in the world who can help him but the Creator himself. Yet how does one know this? That no one will help him but the Creator himself. One can acquire that awareness precisely if he has exerted all the powers at his disposal and it did not help him. Very specifically in that we're going and trying and falling and trying and falling, and we're not capable, and we don't succeed, and we're despaired out of these despairs that come together within us. But despairs out of the correct states, trying to connect, trying to come into contact with the Creator, trying to bestow to Him and give Him the possibility to fill us not to our favour, but in order to bestow contentment to Him by that as much as in all of these things we were in them. We try as much as we can like little children, but all of these efforts that we make, those specifically, are called exertion, and ultimately through that we learn like little children, that out of whatever they do gradually, nature, that is the Creator, teaches them how to do it correctly, and they become wise and they grow. Yes, it is upon a person to do all the possible things in the world to attain for the sake of the Creator, meaning to bestow to the Creator as much as possible from the whole group, as much as we can. Yes, then one can pray for the bottom of the heart, because he doesn't succeed. That helps. But what helps a true prayer after he made many actions? He tried many things, and he failed. Now he has a true prayer. This is considered success, and then the Creator hears his prayer. MHM. However, one must know when exerting to attain Lishma, to take upon himself to want to work entirely to bestow completely, meaning only to bestow and not to receive anything. Only then does one begin to see that the organs do not agree to this view. We need to check, do we truly want to bestow? Turns out that we don't. Do we truly want to connect between us in the 10? Also appears that no. So we have to ask for corrections from above. The Creator can do it. I don't know how. I understand that it's impossible. He can be our friend as his customer in this world in the 10. But to connect as the wisdom of Kabbalah demands from heart to heart, I don't see that it's possible. I also don't see how I can yearn to the Creator in one heart with the friends. What does it mean to yearn to Him in one heart? I don't know. I feel my own heart The other is heart, meaning the desires of the other. I can say that they are also aimed at the Creator perhaps, but for these desires to be connected between them and for them to be as one desire, I don't understand how it's possible and what is it. Even so, what's up to us is to scrutinize how incapable we are. We don't need to carry out the act of connection. We need to perform our inability to be in connection. That's the only thing we're demanded of, because then according to the correct scrutiny, we become needy of the help of the Creator. So He would do it because in truth only He can do it. But according to the correct efficiency that we offer Him, we ask, we cry, we demand. This is what we need specifically. This to the extent that we ask correctly on the connection between us. The Creator makes that connection, and in that connection we feel Him. We have our first meeting with Him. We don't have a question. It was by mistake, so took it down. Is it correct to ask for necessities to be arranged in such a way that it won't bother and only advance a person to spirituality? Need to check. It's not clear. I understood that it's not on us to connect. It's not in our powers. But we do have to ask. You always tell us, why didn't you ask? Yes. But that thing of asking that is on us. Yes. Meaning that this is something that is within our power to do. Yes. Can you explain that? There's nothing to explain. You have to do all kinds of actions towards connection, towards mutual bestowal. See that we can't do it. And ask the Creator to help us. Make Him a partner. Can I do one thing? No, 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 no. That's enough. Contrary to what we do with our kids. When they ask from us, we're satisfied. When they with their strength they come, to their own volition go and do something. Why does the Creator make it like this? Why does He put this border be before us so that we will never be able to advance with our nature? We can't, because we don't have the power of bestow. How can we advance? To advance means to equip ourselves each and every moment with additional powers of bestow. We don't have it. But when we make efforts, we see we're incapable. We detect that it's only possible to do with the help of the upper force to give us bestow, because ascending the ladder from degree to degree is by receiving more and more of the force of bestow, and that's not in our hands. And therefore each time we need to turn to the Creator and ask for it. And by asking for it, not that we need the force of bestow itself, rather by that we obtain adhesion with the Creator. More and more discover Him, we attain the adhesion with Him until we become truly together. This concept of together. Hello. It's not the first time that I hear that we need to note and notice that we're not capable. How in the 10 practically can we discover that we are not capable? That you're incapable of connecting in one desire towards one goal. You don't want to discover that. You can't do it. You wish to perform an action where you are capable of connection. And when you do reach a state where you're similar to the Creator and the connection between you, that you're similar to Him, and when you make such efforts, then specifically out of the efforts to be connected and to be bestow, you discover how much you're not connected, you're not bestow, and out of the hope to be connected and to reveal the Creator, and out of the disappointment that you can't be connected and can't discover the force of bestow, you feel greater shattering between you, and from that you cry out to the Creator. You ask for correction. This discovery that we're not capable. Is it an individual, personal thing, or is it something that we as a group, both, it's both personally and also on the group level that you cannot be connected. And this is called the revelation of the true vessel, the higher vessel over which you then begin to work, how to connect it and how to fill it with the light that unifies all parts, and that's how you reveal the Creator. The Creator is called come and see. You discover the vessels that are in separation between you, and then you discover how through Your own efforts from above comes a light that connects these vessels together, and then it fills them. It's all doing to us. Do we have an instrument? We have an instrument called to scrutinize. How? Practically can we reveal this to ourselves, that inability to talk amongst yourself and mainly to turn to the Creator, because from there you receive all the discernments, guidance from above. They rev when you say that the 10 is working. How can we try to work in an integral way of I don't understand this philosophizing? Can you go back to a normal question? Repeat. Please, can you please repeat the they say that we need to take responsibility and to work integrally. I don't understand how we can do this from the work in the 10, from within the work in the 10. You are asking for connection, which brings you to certain closeness between you to the extent that you come close to one another. You feel a bit more what it means to be one by attaining this one. You feel how much you're not able to come to one fulfillment. Your connection does not attain the one force that organizes this unity. Therefore, you are again working on attaining the shadowing. You yearn for unity and you fall. You yearn for unity and then you fall. And then, from such disappointments, like little kids who learn how to build something, from that you come to connection with the Creator, because you constantly discover yourself more and more is dependent on Him. If you don't let go of the path and you constantly turn to Him because there's no choice, and then you attain connection to Him, dependence on Him, and then more and more you begin to feel how He's working, and that's how you advance. Very simple. You should not let go of every tendency for connection. The process of connection as much as possible. Try to fill in the heart, the mind, our time with the concern and the work on connection. Tens that engage in it more will advance more. Good morning. A question from M. How does true analysis lead a person? Need of the Creator. How? How does true scrutiny bring a person to need the Creator? A true scrutiny. Because after all, what are we scrutinizing? We're scrutinizing what might help us be in connection between us in building of the vessel. And why do we need to build that vessel? So we could give the Creator a place to be revealed. By that we're giving Him contentment. And then in building the tlea, when we engage in that, we gradually turn ourselves from a desire to enjoy the Creator to a desire to delight the Creator. And this happens when you see it. Even in this world, in our lives, when we begin to care for something or for someone, and out of caring for them, you begin to connect with them to such an extent that you begin to love them, like it is with animals or with adopted kids. And in this way, we gradually turn our vessel from reception to bestow. Thank you, friends. So we will continue to watch this lesson tomorrow about the same Shammary article. Now we will move on to the preface to the Wisdom of Kabbalah. In Hebrew, it's page 162 in the Writings of Balaam. We will study from the lesson of 2006 May 11. We're reading from item 5. Right. When he speaks about Biner, there are places where he wrote that Biner is a light of. So what does he mean that it's lacking? What does he mean by that? Biner is the essence of that's what's written. You cannot perform actions of F. You do not base them on the according to what are you mercy. What do you have to give if you have in you and you say I don't want, then we see that you are in Adam. Mercy, I don't need anything in this world, says the one who delights in mercy. Do you know what does it mean in a world where there is everything? You say I don't want anything if I have everything that there is in the world, it's all in. And above that I say I don't want anything, take it away from me. This means that I desire mercy, but if I don't have anything, how can I be delighted in mercy? Although we have another example about the one who delights in mercy. See Who lives in the forest, right? They ask of him, give me your shirt. It can help the king's daughter. The sages told her that she will put on the shirt of one who delights in mercy, then she will heal from her illness. It's an intimation to Malhud that through this correction she can heal. Right? That's what it means. The king's daughter, the king is the Keter. The king's daughter is Malhut, and that she's very severely ill. If she will attain the clothing of delighted in mercy, she can heal. That's what's behind the story, right? So the delighted in mercy one says, I'd glad to give you my shirt, but I don't have a shirt. I don't have her a clothing. Because he doesn't feel that it's his clothing. I don't have it. It's me. If this daughter of the king will truly want to receive it as a clothing, and she will come through with her work, with her exertion, then she will be able to discover that it is possible to receive what is in him, inside of him as her own clothing, and by this to heal and continue the work, meaning to reach adhesion. So, what did I want to say? That Biner is the essence of inside of her. There is the will to receive from phase 1, and it puts on itself an external form of bestow. It cannot be any other way. Yes, we say that 4 phases of direct light exist in everything in reality. What does it mean? The 4 phases of direct light exist in everything in reality. What does it mean? Reality. There is one reality. There is another reality. Our reality, which is called the imaginary reality. It's not real. It's not related to the source. It seems to us that it exists. It just seems to us. We imagine it if so in that there are therefore 4 phases, 4 desires. No. There is no connection with the light. We don't discover that the reality that we're talking about or that Kabbalists speak about is a reality that starts from the spiritual desires with respect to the Creator there. Yes, if it is with respect to the Creator, he exists in the beginning and I am at the end, and through in reflected light. I am in the beginning and he's at the end. So we're talking about desires. That are desires towards him, meaning already on the letter of degrees. Whereas here in this world, when some desire comes to me, it's good to say that it is connected to the Creator, that he invites this desire in me, and accordingly I need to respond to it. This is called the work of preparation. It's like children are given a simulation of something, some games, so that they will play, break it, do something. They learn that way. But it's not that in that there are truly 4 phases, and the light operates inside until it reaches my desire. As now you might ask, so nevertheless if I feel that it exists with respect to me, then nevertheless it does exist in some way. It exists in a way that is called the imaginary reality. So does it exist or not? Yes, it exists in my imagination, and later on, while this imagination exists, it exists. What is this imagination? What is this vessel of imagination? The vessels of imaginations are called the 5 senses. But these are just senses, right? It's like, is there substance there? Yes, there is substance at it wants to enjoy. Does it exist, or is it imaginary? No, it is substance that does exist in my imagination. Does it belong to the Creator or no? Does it come as a result of him? No, it is a result of him. That's already the letter of degrees. So we exist in the letter of degrees now, or not? No. So this reality belongs to the Creator. He created it, or not? No. It is as a copy, a projection. We exist as a projection of the last degree of spirituality. In spirituality, it does not exist. Why? As the Creator starts creation from the light, from his self, and he relates from that degree which we do not attain to the whole of creation from above downwards. Likewise, we emerged from the whole of creation from the bottommost degree, which is disconnected from the whole of creation in ourself. Right? Just as his self is from above and everything comes from him. Likewise, we exist in ourself, here down below, and from us from that state we can enter creation the letter of degrees. But the Creator is above the letter of degrees, and we are below the letter of degrees. He does not depend on these degrees, and we do not depend on them. We're not connected to them. Says that phase 3 wanted to resemble the Creator. Then what does she take? There's a little bit of not half and half. She wants to resemble the Creator too. Resemble means that I resemble him. So, then why just a little bit of mostly? Oh, I just called a little bit. It comes back to the same will to receive as a phase 1. See what he says, Mr. Reader. Please. You exist in the imaginary reality. Go ahead, please. Item 6. No, he wants you to find it in item 3 where it says that the will to receive in phase 3 is like phase 1. Does it appear here or not? So we'll read again about phase 3. And afterwards comes phase 3, and that's because after the light became without whatsoever, and it is known that the light of is the main livelihood of the created being. Therefore, phase 2 at its end awakened, and continued a portion of the light of to shine into Haradim, and this awakening rekindled a certain measure of the will to receive considered a new vessel called phase 3, or the light in it is called light of in illumination of, since the majority of this light is light of, and its lesser part is light of okay, and the fact that in the vessel the majority is the light of, and there's a little bit of doesn't mean that it takes a little bit of the vessel of, it takes all of it, like that this entire desire that existed in phase 1 comes back in phase 3. So what does it mean? A little bit means relatively in phase 3. In phase 3 there is the entire light of from phase 2 that draws the entire light of from phase 1. But because phase 2 determines it wants to do it for the sake of isto, this is why it is considered that phase 1 is small in it. The majority is light of, and there's a little bit of light of. What does it mean, the main laveless of the emanated being? He took that to have some fuel, something. What's so special about this phase? What's special about this phase is that the emanated being understands that the light of is the light of life within it, and in order to bestow something, it has to enjoy. Do you understand that or not? If you want to give to do something good for your mother, you take what she prepared for you. You eat it. Let's say you receive it, and you show her what pleasure you have by that you give her pleasure. Right, when the created being does such a thing, he feels what pleasure he awakens in the Creator, because he's doing it out of the fact that prior to that he equalized his form to the Creator in phase 2. Then he understands what does it mean to bestow through your actions. We know you. But how can he perform an act of giving to the Creator? By enjoying so that the Creator will enjoy. He begins to feel what is the Creator's status. You have no possibility to come out of yourself and clothe in him. You have the possibility to perform the same action seemingly like him. But you must enjoy. This is what I'm trying to say. You must enjoy. Without you enjoying, you will not give him pleasure, and without you intending to give him pleasure, if you will enjoy, then it would be a clip shell. So first there has to be beaner, and later on we call that it. First we acquire above reason, and then we enter into reason. What seems to be here is that to begin with, this process had to happen inevitably. All of these processes are mandatory, inevitable. Everything comes as a result of light that operates inside of the vessel in a form of 1-to-1. There is nothing here on the way that comes out of some unexpected decision. There is no such thing in spirituality in general, in creation. How can you say that there is something That does not exist in the light that expands from himself. Such a thing cannot exist. From where would it exist? From where would it come? Is there some other kind of space from which some qualities can come? If there is a source from which emerges creation, from which it comes out, then that's it that determines everything. No, something new is done. What new thing? From where? How can it be new that did not exist before, where something earlier shaped it, or did not shape it? That cannot be. There's no logic in that. Yes, it's hard to grasp the independence of the created being at all. There is no independence to the created being. There's nothing difficult in grasping it. If there is no independence, there's no question about it. Once there's no independence, then there's no created being. And it's not something separated from. So how do we look at that? That's right. We look at that very nicely, that now we have an illusion of independence. We need to get rid of that the created being has an illusion of independence, but the matter of being separate from the creator, that as if is the definition of the created being. So if it is separated, is not what you mean. It's not the created being feels he's separated. We're not talking with respect to the creator, but with respect to the created being from his attainment. Item 6. Item 6. These four above the sermons are the tense in each emanated being and each created being, both in the whole, which are the four worlds, and even in the smallest element in reality. Phase 1 is called or the world of Absolute. Phase 2 is called Bener or the world of Brier. Phase 3 is called Defer or the world of Yet. And Phase 4 is called Malot or the world of This. Means that we truly need to understand this matter in the simplest form. The light created the vessel. That's Phase 1. The light is also the root show that exists here. Certainly, inside this root there is the will to receive as existence from absence, and there is no more than Phase 1 more, but rather everything that happens later is that Phase 1 responded to its earlier state and became Phase 2. Phase 2 responded to its state and became Phase 3, that responded to its state and became Phase 4. That's it. And in Phase 4, everything ends. The light went through all of these phases and reached the end. What does it mean, the end? That Phase 4 is all that the light can extract from the created being. It's the conclusion of everything. Therefore, the whole of reality includes only the system, which in itself, in order to discover itself, is subdivided later on internally to all kinds of different parts. So who is divided this phase for the last one or all of the other phases? In truth, it is Phase 4. It later on is subdivided into root 0, 1, 2, 3. Root 0, 1, 2, 3 are the qualities before it. They are called the first 9, and it in itself is called, and then in this Phase 4 there is a state called, and then there is the restriction. First restriction, and then massage the screen, and then there is the chattering, and later on the end of correction. No. Well, let's read on, and we will see. Let's explain the 4 phases applied in each soul. When the soul extends from ends and comes into the world of it is Phase 1 of the soul, though it is still not discerned by that name, since the name soul implies that there is some difference between it and the emanator, and that through that difference it departed and has been revealed as its own authority. He doesn't tell us what an soul is. He doesn't say anything about it. He says those 4 phases apply in the entire system from above downwards, and those 4 phases also exist in every created being in every part that we may want to talk about, because you can only talk about Phase 4, which is the final one, which is the desire. Before that, these are not desires. We call it the earlier 3 phases. The previous 3 phases What are these 3 previous phases? It means that they come before phase 4. We don't even talk about them, which I say the earlier phases, meaning we have the root phase and what's between the root phase and phase 4. And then we have phase 4. So between the root and phase 4, it's the connection between them. But as long as it does not have a form of a vessel, there's nothing to distinguish it from self to merit its own name. You already know that phase 1 of the vessel is not considered a vessel at all, and is entirely annulled in the light. This is the meaning of what is said about the world of absolute, that it is complete godliness, as in he, his life, and his self are one. Even the souls of all other living beings while traversing the world of absolute are regarded as still adhered to his self. This means that the souls descend from, which corresponds to the sh root. Here we have, then, yes, item 7. This above mentioned phase 2 rules in the world of Briar, the vessel of the desire to bestow. Hence when the soul cascades into the world of Briar and achieves the vessel that is, there it is regarded as nisher. This means that it has already separated from itself and merits its own name. Yet this is a very refined and fine vessel, as it is in equivalence of form with the emanator. For this reason it is regarded as complete spirituality. Yes, item 8. The above mentioned phase 3 rules in the world of containing a little bit of the form of the will to receive. Hence when the soul cascades into the world of and achieves that vessel, it emerges from the spirituality of the Nisharma and is then called. This is because here its vessel is already mixed with some coarseness, meaning the little bit of the will to receive that is in it. Yet it is still considered spiritual, because this measure of coarseness is insufficient to completely separate it from itself and merit to the name body, which stands in its own right. Yes, item 9. Phase 4 rules in the world of, which is the complete vessel of the great will to receive. Hence it obtains a completely separated and distinguished body from his self, which stands in its own right. The difference between the souls in their root and godliness. Friends, we will now move to a live lesson with Rob, and now we'll sing a song together. La la, 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 keet, keet, highlight, la line, light lie. Hello, we are in a lesson on the topic of everything is obtained by the power of prayer. We will read selected excerpts from the sources. We will continue with excerpt number 4. Excerpt number 4. Rarish writes the most important is the prayer. That is, one must pray to the Creator to help him go above reason, meaning that the work should be with gladness, as though he has already been rewarded with the reason of Kadusher, and what joy he would feel then. Likewise, he should ask the Creator to give him this power so he can go above the reason of the body. In other words, although the body does not agree to this work in order to bestow, he asks the Creator to be able to work with gladness, as is suitable for one who serves a great king. He does not ask the Creator to show the greatness of the Creator and then he will work gladly. Rather, he wants the Creator to give him joy in the work of above reason, that it will be as important to the person as if he already has reason. She not. Questions? None. Good. Yes. Gilad. Why doesn't he want to see the greatness of the Creator, but only to work in lettuce as though he has it? If he has gladness and he works out of gladness, then clearly it's clear how he works, how he relates to the Creator and to all of his work. But if it doesn't have sufficient foundations or inner infrastructure for joy, then he at least asks the Creator to help him, as if he does have joy, as if he has the goal, as if he achieves the goal. That is what he asks for. And then it's clear that he's not asking for himself because he has no joy. But with respect to the Creator, that's what he can do. Why not want the greatness of the Creator? If you will, we have the greatness of the Creator that will cover everything. Then he exists in the greater world, and he has. It's as if he doesn't deserve it yet. He feels it doesn't deserve it. It doesn't come to him, and therefore he asks to have at least that good lot. He doesn't deserve the greatness of the Creator because he doesn't come to Lishwa. He makes effort to get there, but he doesn't have that yet, and then he asks as if he identifies, he recognizes that he doesn't have a true request for the greatness of the Creator. No, he has a request for the greatness of the Creator, but that request hasn't yet materialized in him. He writes here that he does not ask for the greatness of the Creator, but only to work in joy as though he has it. Yes, as if that this will not be his request. Why not? If he has a desire for the greatest of the Creator, why does he not ask to have a desire for the greatness of the Creator? He's not asking to not have a desire. On the contrary, he has a desire, but it's still not realized. So what exactly is he asking for? He's asking for the greatness of the Creator, that the Creator will shine it upon him, and he'll be able to work on top of everything that appears to him now in a way that will be called to in order to bestow above reason. Thank you. He's not asking for the greatness of the Creator, but I understand he also does not object to receive the greatness of the Creator. Right? It's not a condition, it's a work, but he doesn't care, right? Whatever the Creator wants, he'll agree to it, right? So could it be that we will be happy in the work if we give some condition to the Creator, we from ourselves, meaning if we do not condition our work, if we condition our work, we place some condition, some limitation, can we still be in joy? There are conditions that we can present to the Creator, and there are conditions where we can't and we don't want it also. So it'll be close to reception, right? So my question is it possible that the person gives conditions to the Creator and still he's in true joy? Can there be such a thing? Can. Okay, I guess I need to think about it. Thanks, Daddy. If a person is asking from the Creator that he'll be able to work in joy even though the body does not agree to work in order to bestow, so what kind of request is that? Is it a request in order to bestow? He does have a request because the body shows him that he's not in that state. This joy that he's asking for. What is that? That is the joy of that he wants to raise to the Creator. There is no in order to perceive in this joy because he can't go above reason, but he objects to that. So this joy seems like give me something. Yes. But the person is in a state that he knows to what extent he can ask, and where is he truly with the Creator. And that's it. And then he sees that whatever he asks these are things that are necessary for the person, and it will not hurt the reception of abundance from the Creator. How is this joy necessary? Why won't it be joy? You know, in order to receive. It will not be in order to receive, because there's already a space within the person that's divided to two. One is in order to receive, the other is in order to bestow, and the joy it glows where, and the joy has to dress into receiving, in order to bestow. And how can you be happy in the work of reason if the body objects to that specifically because the body objects? So how does it coincide? It goes together because your reception is not in order to enjoy more. Yes. What is the connection between joy in the work? It's of in my overcoming and the revelation of the Creator, or connection with the Creator. Your overcoming. You want to raise it so that it's clear that whatever you're doing, you're not doing it out of a desire to Enjoy rather from a desire to bring joy to the Creator, to the society, right? So until we receive for it for each and everyone, we cannot arrive at the action itself of bestow. What does it mean to scrutinize the joy? You are telling me that the joy, I should have it not inside my vessels, but this joy should be through the friends. I should feel it through the friends. This joy needs to be to come from the clothing of the Creator to the upper light. So if I enjoy my work overcoming the path, then directly I'm delighting the Creator. No. So I'm asking again, how by me overcoming and asking for joy, how in this connection to the Creator, what am I giving to the Creator here? How am I bestowing to Him here by asking for joy? You in the meantime aren't bestowing, but you're showing Him that you don't want to work with vessels of reception. So, how in my scrutiny in this joy that I'm asking for, it's not for me, but it's for I don't even know who to call it. So who is this? It doesn't come just by me drawing it from the Creator, but I awaken it. But it's not that I draw it. There are a few more actions that we can't talk about right now, because we still don't have a feeling of spiritual actions, and that's why we are stuck in this state. What's the difference between the awakening of the light and drawing the light? Awakening from the light is from above, and drawing the light is from below. And we need to do an action from below. That's it. Okay, thank you. What color does it mean that the light can be received in vessels which are unprepared? No, that can't be. That cannot be. Cannot be. First of all, the explanation you just gave us is very beautiful, but I didn't understand exactly. There's a point called the light of scrutiny, the light of clarity. A person draws the light. He doesn't receive it yet. He's still in the middle. He's conducting some kind of scrutiny. What is that point? This little laboratory in his will to receive. It's not for himself. It's not bestow. There's some scrutiny being done. So what is that space? The place where there's this little gap, this little void where a person is scrutinizing. It's the light that performs an action. We don't learn about all the actions, but the light that performs an action before and invites from that vessel a certain action upon itself. And that light, we're not learning about right now. We need to keep going deeper, and then we'll have words, and we'll be able to also talk about those stages. So from all these actions, there are many actions here. Discernment, what's important for us, what action is relevant to us that we can do by our own power, not only when the light is acting on us and now our power. Yes, I don't understand, and all these things we need eventually to go deeper and to try and be present in. That there's an order of a sequence of actions here that the Creator does with the person. So what does the person do by himself? Person has to ask the Creator to do it for him, and he needs to feel that the Creator will reveal these actions for him, and in according to that asking and feeling, he performs actions from within himself on behalf of their vessel. So there are few actions that we don't even have words for yet. You said a few times that we don't have the words, and you don't have the vessels, and you recommend that we make an effort and dive deeper. So how can we take a step forward? How can we delve deeper and discover these emotions? The more you come closer to it, by reading it a few times, by trying to find these actions inside our vessel, meaning between the screen and the light, the screen and the desire. So it'll help us advance. There's a group bestow here. All in all. Also, I don't actually know what else I can. I don't have the words either, because the words is when we already have those inner discernments in you and me and in someone else. So if we're talking about it, we're talking about a specific desire, a screen, a coarseness, an action that begins from the root of the light and ends with the light itself. Thank you. Yes, when you say that you have no words, what is the condition for you to have words? It depends on a lot of things, and not only you. The main thing is that you in your desire you can awaken the help of the Creator from above. So what should be our reaction when we hear from you that you have no words? Search for it. Search, try and go deeper into what I'm talking about, because I'm not talking about concealed things. And that against these words you'll have feelings. You said that we need to open ourselves up to the light. Yes. What is that action? How do we open ourselves up to the influence of the light on us? That we're ready to all the actions of the light in us, that it will perform an action that is more clear, that is closer to us, that we want to hug his action, and that we want to feel his actions really from zero to the place of implementation. How do we empower the operation of the light? That I want to change. I want the light to come and perform all its actions upon me in a way that from his actions I will have things that are clear, at least not in order to tell about it, that's even another effort, but clear according to the actions between the lights and vessels, what he does, and how as a result of it vessels were born in me. So for the vessels to be adapted, what is required for them to be adapted to what the light now wants to bestow upon them? That's what we're doing. Yep. The main thing is to go deeper into what we're talking about and the way we want to advance, how we can grasp these things more in our internality. And that's it. Everything's on the way. Okay. Little point. I hope it doesn't you contradict it, but rather to the contrary. We live in a physical world. Yeah. Now when a person comes and does something for the society, whatever it is, he cleans up the building he teaches in, campus, something, broadcast, whatever it may be, then suddenly he starts scrutinizing life in a completely different way, according to everything we just talked about here. So what is the connection between what you did with your animal body for the society? I'm not talking about taking care of your own necessities. What is the connection between things you did physically for the society and your later scrutinies about life? How do these two things relate? It's too early. How do we scrutinize and see the connection between us and the connections between the lights and vessels? We don't have enough words for this. If we don't have enough of vessels like electricity that we can be filled and pass those lights that are in those vessels from one place to the other, from one degree to the next, but in general there is a connection. Yes, yeah, it exists. We just can't scrutinize or clarify the connection between the cause and the effect. So today we'll start talking about our weekly topic, which is the right, the privilege of serving the society. So that's why I'm asking, so we have this as a foundation. I don't want to get into this. I'm not limiting you in anything. I don't want to get into this, but it's a very important means for attaining a spiritual goal. What you're saying? Last question. You just explained very beautifully the gap that exists between where we are and the depth we need to attain, and it seems to be quite a depth. And you also said that we're in a way stuck. Is it because of us, or is it because the upper system determines that the conditions haven't been met yet? Because when you met Labash and he helped you rise, the generation was worthy. You were worthy. The question is a simple one. Are we worthy of advancement? Do we have the power to break through that barrier that exists? As much as I'm worthy, you are also worthy. That's what I can say. More than that, the calculation doesn't touch it. Last question inside the 10. There's a matter of work. Can we do some work that allows us to hasten the times and clear the obstruction? I also feel stuck. I feel that I can't advance. The place of work, the 10. Can we use it to break? Do all the fear, all the barriers and advance? We'll talk about it. Okay. No, 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 guys. No. More than that. None. Yes. The lesson is over. Thank you. Let's have a summary. Now hold. Workshop to summarize the lesson in the tense. Yeah. Great gratitude for the lesson. Main thing is to go deeper into what we're talking about and how we want to advance, how we can grasp these things in our internality. We'll try to go deeper inside the way the Creator is directing us, the colists are directing us. We'll try to go into the internality of the things. We started from joy. We talked about joy, and truly joy is felt in the air. There's this feeling of a new degree. Love doesn't even have the words yet, but we need to start diving into it and engaging with it. And he said about himself, that works within him. You don't even need the words for it. You need to scrutinize things within. Yeah. They weren't simple scrutinies. That's what I felt. Said we need to scrutinize the vessels to understand what the desire really is. All kinds of things like that. He also said in order to discover the true desire that the Torah is talking about, its great suffering. So he suggested like a method, how to do it, that it won't be in such a way that we'll do something on our behalf from below, before this light comes to somehow equalize to it. So then it's something else already. And in the first part we were talking about as much as we need to pray together that one desire from 110 reaches one Creator. Yes, I wrote that joy can magnify the lack, and it depends on the extent to which we appreciate the one we bestow upon. Now my gauge for advancement is me performing actions not to myself enjoy it, but to delight the friends of the Creator. And also later on he said that the person needs to have a clear address who he's working for. He needs to know who the Lord is, that he should listen to his voice. The right way to relate to the friends is that I want to fulfill the friends through me without limitations. In the first part I wrote, the prayer isn't measured by the magnitude of the shout, but the depth of the desire from which a person requests. And the depth of the desire depends on the measure of your connection with the friends. In the end, I think if we try to be practical, we need to try and be drawn to the connection between the friends as much as possible. And when we stop in a certain point that we don't understand, or don't feel, or don't even know the reason, but when we reach the end of the effort there, we have to ask for the help of the Creator. I'm pretty sure this is how I understand the system, that once we get to this point and ask so you don't miss out, the system works and the Creator shines and corrects. We just need to constantly go deeper in our attraction towards the connection, and as I've said, to fill that space, the air, with that tendency. That is a difficulty that we have during the day, but it is possible, and we just need to develop this force to overcome, to be in this tendency all the time. Yes, there was deep scrutiny regarding joy. So we should really feel joyous that we have the opportunity. We talked about how we always have something to pray for. Of course, not for our own sake, but for the friends to be in a strong effort to connect, and from that we reach despair and see that only the Creator can help us in that. Barism writes, we rush our pleas above, knock by knock, tirelessly, endlessly, and do not weaken at all. When he does not answer us, we believe he hears our prayer, but waits for a time when we have the vessels to receive the faithful bounty, and then we can receive a reply to reach and every prayer, to each and every prayer at once. Since the hand of the Lord will not be short, God forbid. Again tells us we rush our pleas above, knock by nutlessly, endlessly, and do not weaken at all. When He does not answer us, we believe He hears our prayer, but waits for a time when we have the vessels to receive the faithful bounty, and then we will receive a reply to each and every prayer at once, since the hand of the Lord will not be short. God forbid. Meal is a very special state. I heard from loved ones that it's even stronger than a lesson, and if we heard in the lesson now that we need to go deeper in the internality and everything we go through inside. So this is the time, this is the opportunity, specifically in a meal, the Shabbat meal, this Shabbat meal that we are gathering together. It's a very special meal. Now, there aren't any disturbances. We're sitting between friends, and it's a time to remember what we want to attain. Whose Torah are we implementing? Who do we want to give joy to? And what is that next stage that we want to reach already now in this meal? Not to postpone it for even a moment. So while we're eating, let's think and ask and not let go of the plea. The Creator will help us scrutinize all this, everything we heard, to implement it now between us during the meal, and to discover our next state to become closer to Him.